Hey, what's up, insane Marvel fans? This is MCUny, Kingsborough's one and only and first ever Marvel-based podcast. I'm your host, George Desjardins, here with my co-hosts,
Reymi Reyes.
and
Jared Inkster.
with our special guest,
Billy Isidro.
And today, we're coming hot off the heels of our spoiler-filled Deadpool and Wolverine podcast. So now, we're going to get into the amazing reveals from San Diego Comic-Con. But before that, we do want to touch on a couple things that we didn't cover last episode. Mainly, we want to talk about spoiler culture.
Spoiler culture is my idea.
One big thing that happened with the release of Deadpool and Wolverine was that thank God they did it this time, and they should have done it before, or maybe this was the first time that it's been
Testing
successful.
it, like rolling it out and trying it?
Fake leaks.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. The first time they did it, like maybe that's why. The
I
first
feel
time they
like
thought of it, maybe
I'm surprised that they
to the
haven't
level
done
they
it
did.
before. You know, and I feel like maybe they have tried to do something like that, and it just hasn't worked.
I feel like in a weird way, if you look at like the Shazam dropping the test footage of the suit before it was CGI, people are afraid of leaks because then like they might like people are gonna pander things to be worse than they really are gonna be. Like because the suit tested terribly when they leaked the footage for Shazam, and then when you saw it on screen, it was super cool.
Yeah.
So I think there's been varying levels of like like the whole Deadpool franchise in the first place was created because they leaked that car chase scene
Purposefully.
You know, so like, I think Deadpool kind of helps lead the way with that whole like spoiler culture. Like in a weird way, kind of has helped lead the way and find a way to navigate both those things. Like both actors straight up came out and asked. They did a whole little mini campaign to not spoil anything, and then everything was out by like Friday and Monday. Between Friday and Monday, you knew every one that was going to be in the movie. You knew a bunch of scenes, and the thing is, like, I come from first the comic book culture. Like I own a ton of paper, like just like you bring to the episodes every week. But I also love the films, and I also have done a ton of cosplaying. I went to New York Comic Con. I've done a ton of cosplaying. And there's one thing that I learned about cosplay culture is, unfortunately, it's a very attention-seeking culture. Mm-hmm. So, like, the minute those people go, not everyone, but some cosplayers will go to the theater, they'll watch the movie, they'll see, like, oh, this character's in it. I'm gonna go put up my Gambit cosplay from 4 years ago for no reason.
Right.
For no reason? Not no reason. You know what I mean? Like, and spoiler culture can be. There's an okay way to do it. You're like, warning, spoiler ahead. Warning this if you want to know. For instance, there's a huge difference between George and I. I purposefully stayed away from trailers, leaks, everything. You guys, George, in the group chat, hey, you want to know what the plot of Captain Four is about? No, I don't. No, I don't. I don't want to know anything. I show up late to theaters. Right. I don't want to see the in-theater trailers anymore. I miss the 90s trailers. Was like, in a world filled with darkness, there was a hero that, and because it gave no plot away, it gave no teasers to any like they had the I don't know if you guys caught the Alien trailer
Romulus?
Right before.
Yeah,
Romulus.
Yeah.
I did not need to see the entire chest burst scene in the trailer. They should have done the light up to the chest. You see it moving inside. Cut to the next thing. Thank you.
Yeah.
Cut to the next thing.
Same thing real quick with the Trap trailer.
Yeah.
That movie, if they, it's just the trailer. If they would have just done it differently, I would have
gone and seen it.
Yeah.
Because the spoiler culture is all the way, it's embedded now into the very trailers themselves, and it's a shame.
And that's something like I'm glad that you brought up, because it's my biggest gripe with companies, especially that like, oh, they like me just spitballing, but they think it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna show you guys like who's in this movie, and like you're gonna get hyped about it and blah blah blah. But it ruins like the whole purpose that we go to the movies is for the magic. We don't know what's coming. We know that it's coming, but we don't know what's specifically in it. So if you think about like spoiler casting going into trailers now, like it's my biggest gripe with big movies and big studio movies, especially coming from Marvel and coming from DC, and hopefully DC can take a page out of Marvel's book and like bring back those glory days of trailers where it showed you the characters, it showed you some good shots of them, it got you excited but not too excited. You know, it balanced the line of I'm going to show you what to expect, but also I'm gonna tease you just a little bit, like maybe a frame here of
You got
like
who, what, and where, and just enough why to maybe go see the movie.
exactly.
And
That's
know
all
how.
you need.
You don't need how.
You don't even
Know
need the
how.
you need that, just like a little sprinkle of the why. I'm like, okay, this is pretty cool. This is interesting, and this is just I'm talking in terms of just the like the average viewer, because the average viewer it's like most trailers are like two minutes max.
Yeah.
And that like most people like if they're gonna watch a trailer, whether it's like in front of a TV show or in front of a movie and all that stuff, like they're doing other things. Like 2 minutes is nothing, but like if you jam pack it with so much like exposition and characters and things that you should save for the movie, it ruins the magic of it. And like there is a thing that I've learned and that I've known where being an editor myself on the side, where they send their footage, but they don't tell them what not to use. They don't tell them what not to use, but they send them like packages of footage. It's like, hey guys, can you cut a trailer for this, like to editing houses, and just so like there's that lack of communication, so they don't specifically know like what is gonna be in the final cut.
Gotcha.
So it's like that's what I've understood as like a.
I mean, that's been a thing for years too, though. Like you'll see something in a trailer, be like, I don't remember that scene. I don't remember that scene.
Something I want to bring up.
Yeah.
That relates to this. In Infinity War, the trailer for Infinity War.
Yeah, I was just gonna
Hulk
say.
Wasn't Hulk in the movie?
Oh yeah.
And they had him in the trailer as full-on Hulk. No, he was
Smart Hulk /
he was no, that's an Endgame.
Ruffalo.
Yeah.
No, like he was in the Iron Man.
Oh, the Hulkbuster.
Hulkbuster. Yeah. And then.
Oh, you mean in the lineup?
Yeah.
They had the whole running shot.
Yeah.
the
I'm so
so-
sorry.
oh,
Yes.
Oh, they full on changed the CGI for the final trailer, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Between the final trailer and the actual
I guess
release?
Yeah,
Just to
if
not-
he's
I didn't know
Hulk in the
that.
trailer and he's not Hulk in the
Yeah,
movie.
Yeah, just to like not spoil.
He's
the,
arguing with Hulk, right?
Yeah,
He's Hulk at the
exactly.
beginning and
Yeah,
gets knocked out
exactly.
of the first movie. Yeah.
Then you see Hulk in Wakanda, and it just doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Did you get
Gotcha.
anything spoiled for you for Deadpool and Wolverine?
I didn't. Everything was brand new to me.
Were you watching the trailers as they came out, or only
Not
the first one?
the little like TV spots that they were pulled. I didn't watch any of those.
Good.
Those were probably real too
Yeah,
much.
right.
I stuck with just the trailers that the teaser and the official trailers. That's all I stuck with. But I did want to also mention a few years back, before I mentioned Endgame, they had the whole "Don't spoil the Endgame" like kind of campaign.
I mean,
and-
Marvel.
Yeah.
Yeah. They had that like
Disney.
"Don't spoil the Endgame" like thing, like don't spoil what happens in this movie, guys. Community.
It's catchy.
that
It's
didn't
snappy.
Yeah.
That whole breaking of the fourth wall to say we're going to Disneyland was probably one of the best. We didn't talk about that. And we didn't mention last episode the Cavalry before we forget again,
The
too. I just wanted to throw that out there because I think we all went, oh!
I really want that to be. I mean, he says, we're gonna treat you much better than those people down the street.
Yeah.
That happened
That
to him,
line.
Right. Yeah,
happened to him,
line
too. He was in
has
DC.
me.
He was
Yeah,
Green
right.
Lantern.
Green Lantern. So
Which he took everyone wanted Nathan Fillion for that, and
Yeah,
he was
yeah.
Headpool. So that's
that's
like,
right.
yeah,
He was
such
Headpool.
funny small micro.
Headpool,
Yeah.
like Matthew McConaughey voices the cowboy, Blake Lively's
Oh.
Lady
Wait,
Deadpool. So
what?
they had a
Yeah.
bunch of crazy
Nathan
cameos.
Fillion was Headpool?
Yeah.
No way.
Which is funny. Technically, that's his unofficial fourth Marvel character.
Right, because
Right.
Because
he's
he's
done
voiced a ton of the
3 characters
animated stuff. Yeah.
in
Oh,
Guardians
that's
of the
so fair.
Galaxy.
And
He was in yeah.
He's in each one of those.
Sorry, yes, you're right. It's the Guardians.
I thought of this idea as I was driving here too, and I want to write it and I want to send it to Ryan Reynolds because I think he would love it. He would love it. Just off the title, nothing else. A very Deadpool Christmas.
They need to do something. I mean, they can do something like that now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they'll do like
did
a
Halloween special.
presentation.
Right.
They did a Halloween,
The
Black and
Guardians,
White.
the holiday special as well.
Yeah.
But we need
Wait,
to.
before we switch, because I know exactly what you want to switch into, and I have a perfect way of doing it. My spoiler for this movie was by Daphne King.
Yeah.
Because she on her Instagram posted like a picture of her with like from the old movie with with Logan. And I was just like, oh, is she in this movie? Like, my brain automatically went to like, oh, she's not wishing them good
Literally
luck.
same.
Like, oh, she's in it.
Yeah.
So that was, you know, no offense. Like, I love Daphne Keene. I think she was great.
Yeah.
She was great in the movie. That was my spoiler, though, because I was like, that, and then there was a bunch of, like, the cosplayers again, too. Like, a bunch of the new Wolverine with X-23 as well. A bunch of people were cosplayed as that. And I was just like, this isn't the movie.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
So that was my spoiler. And then spoiler culture, talking about trailers and going into one that was shown again this week at San Diego Comic-Con, Red Hulk. Harrison Ford hulking out on stage at the thing, basically confirming everything, saying he finally wanted a piece of the action.
Yeah.
It was just like that. I feel like that started off as a leak / spoiler. Like there was not supposed to be any announcement of
Right.
Red Hulk, right?
Right.
Like, would you not agree with that?
Yes, they made the mistake of planning to release the movie earlier.
And
then
a year, like
delaying
this
it.
year,
This
Yeah.
year.
Exactly.
and
It's
now they're
supposed
full
to
tilt
already
Red
be
Hulk
out.
as marketing. That's just leading into the whole spoiler culture thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's leaning into it. You bought the man to San Diego Comic. You bought. The funny thing is, you ever seen like 20 years of Lucasfilm money, and it's just him at like the last time he was announced as Harrison Ford like this, and then him with one Marvel page, one Disneyland paycheck is like
Yeah.
him right is. That's great. That was such a great meme, man. Yeah, but I'm super happy to have Harrison Ford. R.I.P. William Hurt. I loved him in
Yes.
Smoke and the other movies that he was in that were very serious back in the day. But I'm very happy to have Harrison Ford in the MCU.
Well, they also showed more footage from Captain America 4, and they show a scene that's President Ross standing at the podium, and he hulks out right there at the
Yep.
podium. And fans say that he's got the Harrison Ford Hulk face, which is nice. Not only that, we have a trailer description for the Thunderbolts in which nothing really interesting happens.
Yep.
Except we hear about a guy named Bob, played by Lewis Pullman, who's going to be playing the Sentry. I really hope they delve into the Void and all of that really cool stuff with
That
the
would be cool.
character. You know, what if his whole arc, wherever they're leading with him and however movies they want to put into him, what if it ends with a similar thing to Spider-Man No Way Home? And what happens in the comics is it ends up that the Void, Sentry's evil alter ego, becomes so destructive and so evil that I think it's Doctor Strange is forced to make the whole universe forget about the Sentry and that he ever existed.
Oh,
So
the way they did Spider-Man.
exactly.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you know, they could be leading to something like that. That would be really cool. So we got a little bit of that. We got
You got the Doctor Strange cameo in Deadpool.
Whoa, wait, whoa.
Too soon, man.
Yeah.
Too soon. I wore his skin around for 4 days.
Right, that was
Jesus
crazy. I want to
Christ.
see that.
Off of saying that, we were talking before the show, but I didn't peep it. But now that I look back at it in my mind's eye, the sling ring had like a little piece of the Reality Stone and
Yeah, it
the
was
Time
altered.
Stone
It was an altered
because
sling ring,
she
right?
was, since Cassandra Nova was in the Void.
She can collect stuff.
Yeah, she can collect stuff, and that's basically why I love the Void so much, is because it's like it's taking all like the misfits of Marvel, MCU, anywhere, and like it's like in a good way. It's their scapegoat to get away with anything.
Yeah, no, it's perfect.
It's their scapegoat to be like,
That's the
yeah,
playpen.
I just like boop boop boop, freaking OP ring.
Yeah.
Literally take a
She
take
said
a
she killed him.
yeah.
Well,
take
yeah,
a normal string ring.
Or
the
and
way
killed
I
a variant.
the way I think
Yeah.
it happened is, you know, maybe there was some sort of version of Doctor Strange who just attached those stones to his slingy and then
I was
opened
trying to
a
figure out
portal to
which
the Void
which
or something.
I was trying to figure out which of them it might have been from that What If episode, but I don't think it's alluded to at
No,
all.
no,
Like I was just overthinking, you know.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
then-
it would be cool if they brought Sinister Strange in live action.
Yeah.
but I don't-
Another like intertwining, I think, of like spoiler culture and just straight up the industry doing it on their very own, just to like make sure. I think they know Captain America will do well on their own anyway, but telling everybody straight up who Giancarlo Esposito is,
Yeah.
just putting
yeah.
Giancarlo Esposito in a movie isn't enough for me to go see a movie.
Right.
Exactly.
I don't need you to
He's
tell me
great.
who he's gonna be.
He's great.
I want some like let me get some like what's the word that we couldn't understand because Gambit was using Sling Blade the whole time. exposition. Thank you. Wow, brain fart. Yeah, I think like I would love to find out that he was the head of the Serpent Society through exposition in the movie. I don't need you telling me that he's straight up,
Well, I think people wanted to kind of understand the implications of his character
Right.
and whether we were going to see him
Which,
use
but
powers.
the
or
most,
some shit.
the regular common non-movie goer isn't gonna get that. And like technically, doesn't that also then tie the Luke Cage show into everything? Because
Is Serpent Society in Luke Cage?
wasn't
I haven't
Diamondback
I haven't seen it.
technically a member of the Serpent
seen it.
Society?
Yes, that is true. Is Diamondback in Luke Cage?
I think that's the first
Yeah,
season.
no, second season.
Interesting.
He makes
Diamond-
the guns or whatever.
Yeah,
And then
Cottonmouth, it was the first villain
Right.
in Luke Cage. But what also is really cool, and I'm really glad that they brought talking about the Netflix series as that they brought them back. They brought them into the fold by making them canon.
yeah,
Well, mostly canon, as
Mostly
you can
canon.
see in Echo. This is one thing I always
pick
like
and
to put
choosing
out
obviously
is-
also.
Yeah, it's like I feel like if they were gonna really do these shows are one-to-one canon, exactly what happens in them happens in the MCU. They wouldn't have done this, which is when in Echo when they flash back to Wilson's past. What's his name? Wilson Fisk, right?
Right.
And we see the scene where he has the hammer that he uses to kill his father.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a different hammer, and
It is.
something that
One was a mallet,
minute-
right? And one was a hammer?
I
Or is
think
it
one was a
completely different
ball
style?
peen hammer.
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
was
One, yeah,
like a
yeah.
regular
Sorry,
hammer.
not mallet. Teen hammer. Yeah.
And I feel like a detail that it's minute in one way, but it's also so important to his character.
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
I feel like they should have just got the same.
But like you
know?
said, if it's not one-to-one, isn't it kind of like getting the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. treatment where like, oh, that's
Exactly.
definitely Coulson, but this isn't
The Coulson.
MCU.
Exactly. Yeah. No, that's
That
600%
same
what it is.
Avengers
I think
scenario happened in one universe and then everything else played out differently, and that's
What-
what we're watching in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah. Exactly.
what I really like about having inconsistencies, because they're happy accidents, I think, for the reason of the TVA alone existing.
Yeah.
Of how like
Oh, yeah.
really minute.
Oh, you're
details,
really leaning into loving the void.
like yeah,
Yeah, I
like
gotcha.
really minute details throughout, like because like if you think about the macro of it and the production value and the scale of how big these productions get, like details are gonna get lost in the sauce. Like there's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
But the fan way of explaining it, of just like if the TVA exists just as an entity, then all these different and minute details can kind of just like fall under the cracks a little bit, because if you bring in like time traveling, multiversal jumping, multiverses cracking and all that stuff, just off of what we talked in the spoiler cast of like having your whatever the what being again, the
Anchor being?
anchor beings being like the branch of the timeline that is keeping multiple timelines within that kind of timeline, that can kind of play into that idea of very minute details. Say it's like McAvoy's face, but it's a different like form,
Yeah.
and like going into that, it goes
Like Future Trunks. No.
yeah. It like the rabbit hole goes so
Yeah.
deep that they like, I don't know if they're purposely doing it. I don't know if they're like it's like planned chaos, but I'm living and I'm loving for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And we do have to move on because there's so much
We
stuff
have like
to
one
cover.
or two more San Diego Comic Con
So,
things. Let's
well,
get to those quick, yeah.
we got to dig into the 2 minutes of Fantastic Four footage that we got. Did you see this?
I didn't see the footage, no.
2 minutes of
I know the-
Fantastic
Oh, like, but that
Four.
was cam footage. Like somebody like sat there and the
Well,
still
no,
good enough.
the
I
audience
didn't watch
was
it. I
shown
couldn't.
it.
Yeah, I couldn't sit
So
through that. I'm sorry.
luckily, it's nothing that's going to be used in the movie. It's just test footage of the
Oh.
actors.
It's also
and stuff.
super 60s style,
It's
right?
super 60s.
I
retro
don't want
futuristic.
that.
That sucks
Really? I don't
for you
want that.
because
I
that's
wanted Future
ideal.
I wanted all the Future Foundation. I
They're
wanted
doing
kids.
Future Foundation. They're doing kids. It's called First Steps, which is literally a reference to a baby. And they've said as much that they're going to have these kids in the movie.
I was telling Sarah, I feel like the way I would have just wanted it, because I've seen all the Fantastic Four movies at this point, is I would have just wanted like a montage at the beginning of like him finally proposing after years of like the way in the first two movies, like the whole point is like Reed's clueless as to the fact that his like ex still loves him. Start with the wedding, montage to like oh, and then a second time oh, and then you have the two kids, and then you have like a quirky family in the current time.
I'm sure they'll do
and
that.
super teched out. Like we think our technology now is cool, cyber trucks and whatnot. Fantastic Four is like. By the way, did you catch the Fantastic Car in
The
Deadpool?
Fantastic Car.
Oh yes, in Deadpool.
Yeah.
of
So
course.
freaking beautiful.
Yeah,
I
very
love that little detail.
And you know, with the Fantastic Four, there's a lot to speculate about. Obviously, at the very end of that footage, we see the little Galactus tease. We see a full-size Galactus peering through a window, which suggests he makes it to Earth in this movie. Now, there's been speculation about one thing.
Cloud Galactus is canon now.
Unfortunately,
really?
yes. Well, because Johnny
Chris
Storm
Evans
is
is
in it.
canon.
So
It's a
we
variant.
got to get
Okay,
into
as
this
long as
now.
it's a variant.
You
So-
know who loves variants?
I mean, like,
Sorry,
no,
sorry.
I know. I'm just like,
Robert Downey Jr.
Woo!
Yes.
yes.
is playing Doctor Doom. We don't know if it's Victor Von Doom. Now, Matt Shackman has been asked, is Robert Downey Jr. going to be in this movie? He says, I cannot talk about that. Now, the thing with me and all these questions, right, is if the answer was a simple no, why wouldn't they just say, no,
Right.
he's not in it, right? So that makes me think, what if they're going to do something crazy? So Kevin Feige has announced we are going to see Fantastic Four and Thunderbolts in Avengers Doomsday, which is really
Wasn't it
interesting.
in both movies?
I'm not sure if we're going to see... seeing Thunderbolts in Secret Wars almost doesn't make sense.
Post-credit scene maybe,
Like,
or
it's
in the
too
news.
much for them. Like, they what are the Thunderbolts going to do in
here's-
Secret Wars,
Here's my idea of it, because I saw some things online about
Well, that would be a big.
like how it goes down into it. How someone was putting very beautifully on little predictions for both movies. I remember one of them was Doomsday taking the idea of how Reed and Doom were trying to, save their universe or something like that and all that. And something goes wrong that sends them blasting into different universes. Where which in that Doomsday beginning, like the first 10 minutes or something, it sends that Reed back into the 60s. And all of that.
Gotcha. Are they doing Council of Reeds? Do you know?
I
that I will ask because I
well-
feel like DC Legends of Tomorrow or The Flash did that already really
Council of
badly.
Wells.
Yeah.
I think that having John Krasinski in there and him not being cast as our Reed Richards really kind of indicates to me that we're going to get some sort of
The other thing
council.
that threw me off, if we're talking Fantastic Four, if we're talking variants, if we have just coming off the heels of Deadpool, is that they showed in the end, the mid-scene credits, that little tribute that Reynolds and the Deadpool movie did to the Fox universe. They showed Josh Trank's movie,
Yeah.
but they did not include any characters from it. So, if they are doing variants,
They did.
did you see any?
Yeah, you see Miles Teller,
You see Miles B. Jordan, and you see
yeah.
that thing.
Michael B. Jordan.
Or Michael
Where?
B. Jordan. In the
In the credits, but not
In
in
the
anywhere
credits.
throughout the movie.
No,
Like
absolutely
they didn't
not.
establish a single
Yeah,
Josh
so that's
Trank.
really
No, 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 no.
interesting.
See,
Yeah,
that's what I was gonna say. They didn't
Yeah.
establish a single Josh Trank character, right? You could have had that weaker Doom work under Cassandra Nova, just had the actor come back. So it makes me think if they do variants, does that Doom still count? Or is Michael B. Jordan doesn't want to be he's Killmonger? Don't associate me with.
that would have been really fun.
You know what I'm
Imagine Michael B. Jordan and
Do it,
Chris
like,
Evans
being
come
together
out
as
and
the
Johnnies.
fake out two fake.
They would have been
outs,
cool
like-
if that was two Johnnies together as anything Kilgrave and Killmonger and yeah.
Kilgrave.
Well, it's based off of
Netflix brain.
yeah, I'm super, well, no, Netflix. I also go by that on my Instagram
Yeah, that's-
because
Oh, okay,
I love
okay.
purple, man. I love the color purple. That was
That's
a great
so fair.
character. What's his name? Killed it. It was such-
Kilgrave.
yeah, it was so good. But yeah, no, the Jordan. I want to know if that because he was also a great Doom. To be fair, all the Fantastic Four movies that have come out already, I think were fine for what they were. If you had changed Galactus to being accurate, you know how happy people were at the time to have Silver Surfer? It was Stan Lee's, R.I.P. Stan Lee, you were a freaking god. But you know how happy he was to have the Silver Surfer brought to the big screen? That brought so, and his cameo in it is so much fun. He's supposed to go to the wedding and he's not on the list. He's like, I'm Stanley. He's like, yeah, buddy, yeah, right. But, like,
They
no,
do that in
really.
the comics.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That was right. It's like it was. The Rise of the Silver Surfer was a great movie. People just can't get over the fact that Galactus was a cloud.
Yeah.
What's funny enough, you talk about that, but one of the DVDs I had as a kid, that I would watch in the car, like going anywhere on like long trips, was a bootleg version of Fantastic Four 2.
Rise of the Silver Surfer.
Rise of the
man.
Silver Surfer, and the image of that is just ingrained in my brain.
And that Doom was so accurate. He would do
Yes.
everything
Yes.
he could to like gain power that was outside of his reach, which is the whole point. Of, like to have Doctor Doom riding the Silver Surfer's board, that's so ambitious. Then for 20th Century Fox, that's so cool. So yeah, I'm excited about Fantastic Four, but it's with a huge grain of salt because of I don't want any more origin stories. I want you to
It's
jump
not
into
an origin story.
It just
not.
feels
No,
like
no, no,
I know,
no,
but it just
Matt
feels because it's
Shackman
old.
has
I know. But it just feels
it's
because of the
not-
old feel. I wanted
not
new feel. I just wanted very modern.
Well,
It
okay.
is a modern.
It just looks okay.
Back to the Avengers.
Yes.
I'm tired of TVA stuff.
Rooster Brothers are back to direct both
Rooster Brothers are
Avengers,
back, yes.
Doomsday,
Thanks to
and
RDJ.
Secret Wars.
Yes, he
RDJ.
required it.
That's
I
on the
wanna
rider.
talk about the controversy with his casting because Twitter or X
Oh, there's definitely
has
divided.
blown up.
It's Twitter.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, it's Twitter. It's Twitter, but you know, X.
Twitter.
It's blown up. People are like having mixed reactions. What do you guys think about like, you know, Tony Stark's legacy and now it's
Oh.
he's back in it.
If
I
a
have-
legacy
Dr.
thing,
King.
that's a bunch of malarkey.
I have a lot to say about this.
Well, we don't have
All
a
the
lot of
internet's
time.
gonna say is till he's 90.
We actually
Yeah,
have
it's
almost no time.
Okay.
No, that's fine. Let's wrap it up. That's
So,
cool.
Alright.
There's a
I
lot of thoughts
think,
about this.
you know-
that's cool.
Yeah.
To see him, this
Last
is the big
thoughts.
bomb at the end. You know?
People were like, you got to get a Romani actor to play Victor Von Doom, which makes sense. And that's why I think maybe he's not Victor Von Doom, which kind of would be dumb and suck. And I want him to be Victor Von Doom. But they could be going that route. You know, people wanted Henry Cavill to
Really?
be playing Victor Von Doom, which would have been really interesting.
Like, yeah, I'm trying to sit here and picture it. I'm spacing out, but I'm picturing that, and it doesn't work for
It doesn't
me.
sit well.
But I mean, the guy is such a chameleon. Like, he's only been given roles that he's super handsome in.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. He's only been given roles that like are just like silver platter stuff. Like he would gladly. He's a huge nerd. He'll immerse himself in any role he's given, and he'll kill it. So to say he can't do it is like that's devil's advocate to the same side of the question. Like I see it, but I also don't see it. But like he could do it. He could do
I think
whatever.
either way, if it is Victor Von Doom or whatever, a Tony Stark variant of whatever, I'm excited to see how the main timeline MCU characters react to like, wait, Tony? You know? Like, he was
Just
died.
imagine when Peter sees him.
Right.
I was just talking
He
about
died in his, or he
But
died.
that's why I think it'd be a better as an evil variant of Tony. I do
Yeah.
think
Yeah,
because
'cause
of the
people would be like,
implied Tom
Tony.
Holland reconnection on
Yeah.
screen magic that you can get from it being an evil Tony.
Yeah.
And variants and the fact that I still will I'll die on the hill that the original Victor Von Doom actor killed it as a Victor Von Doom.
Yeah.
That role is perfect. Like just put it on a T and give it to a good actor and he will crush it. Like
Yeah.
so it could be it and it's fine. If it's for me, if it's RDJ and that's Victor Von Doom and that's just that's what we're getting, fine.
And he's
Yeah.
getting paid.
If it's a different person and it's a variant and he's getting paid 160 plus,
What is
Yeah.
it? What's it? 80
It was
million?
86
if he's getting
million.
160 million for two
Yeah.
movies plus,
Oh, it's double?
I think
I
it's
thought it was
80
half.
per. I thought.
It was
80.
90 per.
90 per.
So if he's getting
That's
almost
insane.
$200 million to come back, I'm okay with it either being as evil Tony Stark
yeah.
or being Victor Von Doom. I don't think they have the if they want to keep digging into the pockets and keep having him come back at that budget.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I think it's cool if it's a two off movie.
Yeah.
That's evil Tony, and
Yeah.
that's it.
And
perfect. And you're revising and you're creating enough controversy to breathe life into the MCU.
Yeah.
Again.
I think the biggest part I think about it is that like the acting as an actor, like the brevity and the depth that he could bring to the to the Victor Von Doom character, because he's a tortured soul. He's a tortured soul that just wants to like create a world and like to make something for himself and all that, especially living in Reed's shadow most of his life. So I feel like with RDJ coming off of Oppenheimer, and coming off of these like really big movies that like went into emotional character, emotional depth, to bring him back, like I have my faith. I have my faith in the Russos. I have my faith in RDJ and his acting ability. Like it's not of a thing of like whether it's going to be good or bad. It's like what approach are they going to take? Like they could go God Emperor Doom. They could go, just Victor Von Doom. They could go many different Dooms. And playing off what you guys said earlier about the emotional interaction that they would have with Peter Parker. And not as just like, that's just for the fans though. If you're like a true fan, or even like a casual fan, and you caught up by the time it comes out.
Even if you saw the last Avengers,
exactly.
know.
Like how deep cut that would hurt, because that like you as Peter Parker, you looked up to that man, and he's trying to basically end. Yeah, you looked up to that man, and he's trying to end everything as you know it.
Even dead, I am the hero. One last thing I wanted to say. This means that Kang's story is done.
Well, yeah, I feel like they might
that.
genuinely. Yeah, you did. They might genuinely leave it where they did at the end of Loki season 2, where it's like, oh, did you hear about the other Kang? Oh, yeah, they dealt with it. You know how
like it's
Owen
there.
Wilson
It's a
has
floater.
that throwaway line,
It's another
right?
file
It's
in
an
the
upper
system.
decker in
You
the portable
if
toilet.
he's just a villain that was in 3 projects, that's
He
not
did
horrible.
great.
That's not
Jonathan
horrible.
Majors was great.
So was Kevin Spacey when he was an actor.
I have 2 Jonathan Majors Kang action figures now, so what am I gonna do with them? Maybe they increase in value. The silver linings to everything.
I will say this though. Marvel has proven now that, and again, this goes back to what I was saying about the Deadpool movie having a rewarding factor if you've seen like literally everything that Marvel's ever touched over the years, and him saying, "I want my friends to now have a better home." There's totally a possibility. Does God Emperor Doom? They do 2 movies. The same way they did Endgame, and
I think it's pretty much guaranteed.
Right?
Yeah.
They do Doom World, which by the way, go read Doom World. It's a single story if you want to, where he gets basically the power of a god. He creates that and a Secret War scenario where the heroes in this world now need to band together and fight. I think he's going to collect a ton of also unused variants of stuff.
Well, the original plot for Deadpool 3
So I think we're
was
going to
that,
get more
Paradox was
callbacks.
collecting characters.
Yeah, so we're going to
just
get
like
more
that.
callbacks, I
Yeah.
think. Like lots of villains that we haven't seen. I think there's a Deadpool director's cut coming with more cameos.
Other variants.
I
be
think
fun.
there's more. I think there's like, as much as he joked, like the gays did Wizard of Oz. They did it best. They understand. That's a joke though, because there's still, he's used all the Deadpool corps. So there's going to be variants. It's inevitable. This is what works. This is the formula for right now. Don't abuse it again, Marvel. Do not abuse it again. But milk it. I'll drink all the milk.
Yeah.
I'll drink it all.
We're a bunch of milk drinkers here, and we hope you are too. Thank you so much for watching yet another episode of the MCUny podcast.
Thanks
See
for
you next
coming,
time.
Billy.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys for having me. I love this, and thank you guys for listening and watching, and till next time.